Hi everyone, this is the first video of the programming basic course, and as you can imagine, this course will try to teach you the basics of programming, and we will start doing that with JavaScript since it is a very simple language and will allow us to focus more on the logic. Then we will move to TypeScript, which will allow us to start implementing the best practices to follow in order for us to be more comfortable while coding. And during all the course, we will also see something from other programming languages in order for you to understand that really is not the programming language that does the difference, but rather once you have the logic and you recognize the patterns, really the programming language is just a detail. So I hope this course is in your interest and we'll start writing some code. So now you may be asking, where should we write our code? Well, actually, since we are working with JavaScript, we could open really any website and search for the dev tools. Now you can open the dev tools by pressing Ctrl minus J, or if that should not work for any reason, you could press the F12 on the top of your keyboard, and this will also open the dev tools. By the way, these are the dev tools, of course, and of course you can close them by this same key sequence that you use to open them. And if none of the key sequence that we saw, so Ctrl minus J or the F12 key, will work, you can always go on the top of your window and search for developer tools. In this case, I can find them under the More tool and then Developer Tools. And this will, of course, open the developer tools. Once you open them, be sure to be in the console, not in Element, not sources, but in the console. Here we can write simple JavaScript expression. We will see what expression are in one or two videos from now, but really uh, is the most simple way you can use JavaScript or any programming language by treating it as a calculator. And in JavaScript, you can, of course, write simple math expression. And there are various values and operation that you can do. And of course, we will see them in a future video. Now, I just wanted to show you the possibility to write here our code, but we will mostly not write here our code. And in fact, for the rest of the course, I will ask you to install a little program called nodejs, and you can search for it on any search engine. And you should go for the nodejs.org page by clicking here. I will go to nodejs.org/n, and you can here install Node. You mostly will go for the recommended for most users. And once you have installed Node, um, all it does is just making available to you some commands in your command line. And you can open your command line by pressing the Windows tab and typing cmd or terminal, or in my case, you can also press Ctrl Alt T. In any case, you have one on any computer. And of course, installing Node makes available uh, various commands, one of which is Node. And launching Node as it is will open a console, a console very much like the, the one we saw here. In fact, I can type here 2 plus 2 gets evaluated as expected. and also 3 by 3 and gets evaluated as expected. Now we will not write our programs in such a simple environment, which is the console, which is of course very useful for writing and testing expression and see how do this expression gets evaluated. But for more complex programs, we will need some file where to write code, and this file can be written in any simple text editor, such as a note block. You can type console.log and hello world, and this is a valid JavaScript program. But we didn't have no hint. It's really awful to write code like this. We can save this and give it a JavaScript extension. So in this case, I'm saving it in the ABC folder, which I created just a moment ago, and I'm saying this file is called uh, abc.js. Actually, the only important part here is the .js, because it tells the computer that this is indeed a JavaScript file, and yes, I want to save it in the ABC folder. And now this gets treated as a JavaScript file. Now, if I go here back in my directory and I type ls, I see there is the file I've just created. How do we evaluate this file? Well, we already saw that Node is able to evaluate JavaScript expressions, so we can see the file as a big expression. Therefore, we can run node followed by the file. What node will do is take a look inside the file and execute the code is fine. Therefore, node abc.js, abc actually, and it will console log, and we'll see what console log is, but it's really a simple function that if we print out the content, just to have it in mind, uh, what ABC is, it's just a row containing console, which takes this part. We saw the console also here. This is the console, right? Is console is just as if we were accessing this space here. So that's what is a console. We are saying console log, and log is just a way to say print, and then we pass the value containing a string. Therefore, what this piece of code doing is just taking the console and say print to it whatever I give to you here. Therefore, when node finds this row, it will just do takes the console and print whatever I gave you here. And here I gave to him hello world. Indeed, he printed out to the console hello world. We now know that we can execute a JavaScript file, but writing JavaScript file as we did now is really not much the most efficient way. So how do we solve this issue? Well, in order for us to solve this issue, we can just go to our browser and search for an IDE. And I would suggest you to install the vscode IDE. What an IDE is really not much more than a text editor, as the one that we used before. But it has also some cool features, and it allows us developers to write code more efficiently without really worrying about the syntax and focusing more on the content of our program. Just search for VS Code and click to the link, which will take you to code.visualstudio.com, and install the version of Visual Studio for your operating system. Install the stable version, of course. Once you have installed it, as an example, for Windows, you will have an exe which will set up for you your Visual Studio Code program. You install it, and once you installed it successfully, you end up with a window very similar to this one, which we can open a folder, and I'll open the folder I just created before and click OK. This will open the, yes, I trust the author. I am the author. Um, we now have access to the file we wrote before, but as you can see now, if I type console, you can see it suggests me what I'm writing. Therefore, I really don't have to. It also, when I press the dot, it tells me what the console can do. These are a bunch of things that the console can do. And just in this case, I just want to log, and I want to log hello plus two. Hello actually is a string, and I want to. So this is I've just modified my file, but I've done it really in a much easier way than doing it in a text editor. Now, Visual Studio Code is also a terminal integrated. We can go up here, click on terminal, and then on new terminal, and this will open a new terminal in the directory in which the project is, and we have all the command that we have in our normal terminal. And so I can also run here node.abc.js, which is the name of the file. This file here will be evaluated, and as we saw, this is the first line, and gets executed and prints to the console the hello world string, and then gets executed the second line and prints to the console hello 2. So Visual Studio is just a really nice environment to start writing our code. Actually, I forgot to mention, you will have need to install an extension for TypeScript. Why TypeScript? Well, because it also includes JavaScript, and this will give all the hints that we saw before. You just install it here. It will take a couple of minutes, no more, no more, and you are ready to go really.